There is now little to see of the devastation that struck Taminga village. A good rainy season brought strong growth. Now the remains of corn and weeds hide the evidence of the civil war. Some of the 1,000 families displaced here returned daily from the safety of the camp at Delij to tend their abandoned fields. But little could be harvested before the nomadic Arabs, who displaced them, drove their animals through to eat the crops. There is little incentive to replant. The camps continue to swell, fueled by a new outbreak of violence between the Arab tribes that is displacing more indigenous Fur families. Abdallah al-Baka is the newest arrival, unloading his family of 10's belongings on the edge of the already sprawling Hamadiyya camp. Abdallah says the attack happened last night. They came with guns and trucks and took most of our belongings, he says. He was lucky. He escaped with most of his harvest and some of the family's personal belongings. Over the 2 previous days, 135 families had been displaced in his village of Nyangadulu. The nearest hospital at Zalinji was struggling to cope with the dead and wounded. It's a new disaster, the kind of event that justifies a change of strategy from supplying basic items to rapid reaction to a local crisis.
Well, what I think people have to remember is that the nature of this conflict is changing. And we used to blanket distribute in camps and other places to large populations. Now it's small-scale displacements. They're just as needy, but we have to change as the conflict changes. So we are going to move over from NFI to what we're calling an Emergency Preparedness Response Unit, which will be mobile, fluid, flexible.
100 kilometers away in Kordol, it's a busy day in the market. Here is evidence that progress is being made towards peace and coexistence. The village was destroyed in the civil war, displacing 1,000 families. Now most have returned to live in uneasy coexistence with local Arabs. The leaders of the 2 communities, the sheikhs, now meet regularly, prompted by an ACT Caritas nutrition specialist who first came to Kordol just 5 months ago.
It was very high level of malnutrition when I came here, among the Arabs and the Fur people here. Children were really severely malnourished, and we had to take them to the hospital, to the therapeutic feeding center in the nearest town.
The key issues in the area, now that most families have been equipped with the bare necessities, are twofold. The first is water. For those of us used to turning on a tap and getting good, clean water, it's hard to imagine it being any other way. But here, water and sanitation are quite simply the basics of health and survival for life itself. Finding water for the displaced millions in such an arid landscape is a specialized job. Sudanese geologist Mawia Yassin heads up the ACT Caritas exploration team that's finding the water that enables the displaced families to think about cultivating crops and proper hygiene. A fine granite dust sparkles in the air at a drill site on the outskirts of Zalinji. Yassin's equipment identifies an aquifer 50 meters down, but this one is dry. ACT Caritas runs 2 drilling rigs which have been used to sink over 100 boreholes in the past year. The cost was nearly $5 million, almost a quarter of last year's budget. But now 100,000 people have safe water and sanitation.
It is more or less like sometimes playing with chance, but actually because of the modern technology, you can, with a lot of precision, maybe more than 70% chance that you will find water, especially when you do drilling. But in some situation where we do hand-dug wells, it is more like an obvious case.
This was the first school to open in the massive Hassa Hissa camp in August 2004. Around 800 teenagers attend class here to study a basic curriculum up to grade 8. ACT Caritas provides textbooks, benches, water, sanitation and lessons in personal hygiene. The school is run by ACT Caritas partner, the Sudan Council of Churches.
We are very happy in this partnership with ACT Caritas program because is that when ACT Caritas or NCA is moved out in this country, we are as a Sudanese, we still here, we still continuous with this program, and we're still helping the people.
So what is she complaining about?
Dr. Eben Egajuro oversees the medical and healthcare needs of the hundreds of thousands in the camps. This unit alone treats 2,400 patients a month, mainly women and children. A specialist in tropical diseases, Dr. Eben has been in Darfur for 2 months, and her job is to combine the programme's medical and nutrition services.
Well, it's much better for us if we are combined as health and nutrition, because the malnourished children really come through to the health centres because they are sick, and health and nutrition are one unit. And in the coming year, we hope to increase our nutrition education and more information to the communities.
The Zilinji Health Centre is one of a series being built across the region and demonstrates how mutual interest can unite a community. Act Caritas provides the materials and hires the main contractor, who in turn hires craftsmen from the town and labour from the camps. Once complete, it'll be handed over to and run by the Sudanese government.
If things go well, the IDPs are not going to be here permanently, so the town dwellers also, they're benefiting, and they'll benefit in the long run as well.
At a psychosocial centre nearby, Tabitha Cholmaniel from southern Sudan offers displaced women, many of whom have been abused, counselling and a chance to regain some confidence and self-respect. The psychosocial and protection programmes are due to merge and deliver an additional key element: peace building.
We try to put a strategy for the next year, and then from the beginning we start to build the capacity of the national staff who are here, and now we are working with the other partners, with the IDPs themselves, with the host community, so even when we are not here or the organization are not here, they can move or they have knowledge to help themselves or the others.
At Bilal camp near the capital, Niala, Mayen Waljong meets with Sudanese partners. It's his job as head of partner programs to explain and encourage the changes. Partners like Sudan Development Organization still face problems but remain hopeful for the future.
We are one nation, and it is our people, those who are doing this against their people also. And that's why we feel very sad. Yes, and we hope this finish as soon as possible.
Yet Mayen Waljong, who is also Sudanese, fears the worst if the flow of money to pay for the work slows significantly.
It's going to be a big mistake if we withdraw from here, because the Darfur is a place which is not predictable. And for me, I think that instead of preparing for better, we better prepare for the worst, because the situation has not, in fact, improved.
Yeah, that's right.
The new Act Caritas director for the region is Anne Masterson. She has a wealth of African experience, including the past 9 years working in Rwanda after the genocide of the middle 90s. She says Darfur is not going to be a quick and easy settlement.
This is a very fragile piece at the moment. We don't know where it will go. And because of that, we need to continue supporting our activities and moving on to a level whereby it's more sustainable. I think if we withdraw now, we're in danger that the thing could revert into chaos again.
Masterson says response to previous appeals by governments, churches and the public has been tremendous. The danger inherent in any funding shortfall is that the momentum towards peace could be lost, while the suffering would worsen.